Okay, sorry, my shit ran out of memory. Okay, so like I said, didn't have that much time before he was gonna be over there, and so I had this piece of shit phone, and it was like my gangster phone. Like anything could happen to this phone, and it was not gonna break. I'd had it forever, and I set it up real fast. Like I turned it on, and like there was a couch and some shit on it, I'm sure. And I went over there and I'm like, I'm trying to hurry up because he should be pulling up any second. And I'm like pushing it up on her stuff and trying to hide this thing somehow. I don't know how the fuck to do it. Like I ended up getting it to sit up straight, and like I was happy that I couldn't see it. And I had no idea if it was looking at anything or if it was even recording anymore because I had messed with it so much. But I tried, so it's up there. Not too long after that, my girl was like at the window, in my bedroom window, actually looking out to see if he was there, and she was like, "Yeah, he's here. It's a white guy in a big red truck." And so I'm wearing like pajamas. I was in the middle of doing my nails, my acrylic or whatever, and so I had the stuff set out on the floor. I was going to continue to do it, whatever. So I go to the door, I open it up, see a brand new big pickup truck, bright red. And a guy hops out of it, and he's got, Starbucks in his hands, and he's got this suit on, and looks like my prosecutor that sent me to prison. Like, that's the first thing I thought of. And so that's what I said as he was walking up to the door. I was like, "Hey, you look like the prosecutor that sent me to prison." And he was like, he laughed, like a good down in the stomach laugh, and he handed me one of the drinks, and he came in. I shut the door, and he's like, "But I do know you from then." He said, "I've been watching you since 2008 when you caught your case." That was 2016. That's 8 fucking years. This is normal in this line of work and stuff. People do watch you for a long time. Sometimes don't ever have contact with you, or when they do, like, they let you know, it's been this many years or this many years. And it's a little bit different for normal, fans and admirers and things like that to do it than it is for somebody like this. Something was just off about it. It's like, why have you watched me for that long? He said he was a lawyer. He said that it didn't matter what kind of a lawyer he was. He didn't want to tell me. He didn't want to tell me his name. Just that he knew me, and that everybody used to talk about me in that circle back in 2008. And so I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this guy, and I'm down there doing my nails, and he's up, on the couch, and he still doesn't want to tell me who he is. And he tells me actually that he wants me to get so comfortable with him that it doesn't matter to me who he is. And I was like, dude, like, sorry, but I'm very nosy, and like, it's not fair that you know everything about me and I don't know shit about you. I was like, so I will look until my little looker is broke, and I will look online and I will find you. I was like, it'll probably just take me a fucking, I think I said, like, I don't know, 2 hours, 2 days, something like that. It took 2 years, okay? But he was very fake. Everything about him was fake to me. The way he talked, the things he said, red flags, but confusing ones, because I'm like, what the fuck is this about? Still didn't know if I was getting set up, still didn't know really much of anything, except that this guy knows everything about me. He was like, you're a rock star, and we're going to be best pals, and like, that's the kind of shit he's saying. And I'm just like, dude, whatever, like, I'll amuse you. It comes to a point where he takes his jacket off, and he gets comfortable, he even asks if he can come sit by me on the floor and help me do my nails. And I was like, sure. No, don't come over here, because I've got this camera sitting over here, and if you sit on it, I don't know, what's gonna happen. So I was like, I'll come over there. So I pick my stuff up and I go over to that couch, and I sit on the very other end of it than him. and we're talking, and he gets closer and closer, and he's edging in, and he starts like touching me, my hair, things like that, and I'm very uncomfortable. You can tell I'm very uncomfortable. I'm sitting there and just trying to do my nails, but in this line of work, you've got to know how to not make him feel like you're uncomfortable. So even if somebody's looking in at the situation and they can tell I'm uncomfortable, he won't know that because I've got his attention on something completely else. But anyways, now mind you, I think that this camera's rolling. In the back of my head, there's a big possibility this camera's rolling. So I was gonna play my part no matter what. He ends up like trying to get my pants undone, and I'm like, trying to tell him, like, if you're gonna go there, like, you need to make this appointment for that. Like, this appointment was for like you coming to talk to me, and I'm not ready for an appointment like that. I'm just not, and I'm very picky about when I do these kind of things because like I have a ritual that I freaking go by. So it's not gonna happen. I don't care who you are. You're not gonna like edge your way in. He wasn't, I think, expecting that, I guess. So he ends up, regardless, on top of me. Okay, and he at one point has his hand around my throat, and I know this camera's rolling, so I'm not gonna be dramatic and be like, oh no, get off of me, just to like, make it look like something else. And I'm not also still gonna let you do anything because I'm not going. So it ends up, he's like on me for 15 minutes, ridiculous amount of time. I didn't even realize it was that long. And when he gets up, he's like apologizing for being so, forward and aggressive. And I assure him it's okay. He just needs to get a hold of me for an appointment and blah, blah, blah. So he tries to give me some money. I didn't take it. I told him he didn't owe me anything. He then, tells me that we're going to meet the next day, and I'm agreeing. And out the door he goes, okay? After a little small talk. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, I go get my girl, and like I'm calling my dad, I'm calling my lawyer, and I've got this freaking phone in my hand, and I'm going back, and wow, it got everything on tape. Like, and it was crazy because like this phone is a piece of shit, and it was all the way across the room, and it was exactly dead on. And that was the beginning of a lot of bullshit. I did put it, right next to an air conditioner unit, so there was a lot of like sound that shouldn't have been there, and it's hard to hear what's really being said. But if you clean it up a little bit like I did, and you turn it fucking up on a Bluetooth speaker, you can understand what's being said. I started looking for him. I sent the freaking video to my lawyer because I'm like, if he's the lawyer, he's the lawyer. They're in Lafayette, they know each other. My lawyer said he thought maybe he knew who it was and sent me off on a wild goose chase to somebody completely different. And that was the only person that I thought really kind of looked like him when I'm looking at these pictures. And I'm like, fuck, man. So I even went to this place of this man's employment and like showed like still shots. Like, hey, does this guy work here? I never saw face to face that I was aware of. I never saw that lawyer again, but he got a hold of me every day after that on Facebook, on that fake profile page. And he got really weird really, really quick, and it was like driving me crazy that I didn't know who he was. And he kept promising me he'd tell me and not tell me, and he was just like taking up a lot of my energy and my time that I felt, I should be charging you for this now. I know you're not gonna here to like set me up. I know you're not here to rob me, so like don't play me on my time. And why are you getting weird on me? Why are you, when I'm saying this, you're like, oh, don't do these things. Well, you're better than that. Like, I will always care about you, and I'll always, this and that, and like I'm gonna be with you, and you would never want to marry me. And like, what the fuck are you talking about, first of all? Second of all, like, you're the one just trying to hand me money for being on top of me and doing some stupid shit. So don't go there with me. And he was just, it was like a head game, some kind of a head game. I don't know what kind of a game it was, but it was not funny to me, and I wasn't winning. So I ended up, like, I was very rude to him all the time. Like, I've still got all of my Facebook, archive that you can pull up from the past years. Like, and I went back and I listened to all this, like, my voice things that I sent to him and the things that I said. I mean, I was just fucking ruthless, and he was just pathetic and annoying and like confusing, and it was halfway making me go fucking crazy, because I have a lot of other stuff going on in my life at this point and at every point. And so it's like, I don't need the extra, mysteries. Like, I don't need the extra movies and stories. I just don't need it. So comes a point, he's telling me that he starts seeing this girl, and he's married, mind you. He's married. Because he's always like, oh, the missus might find out this and the missus might find out that. So he was worried about it at first. But after a while, he ends up seeing this girl. He said that reminds him of me, a bad girl that I would really like. Yeah, whatever. But he ends up, I'm going throughout my life, like, whatever, like it was going, and I'm getting ready to actually go out of state and move out of state for a business opportunity. And I was going to Texas. Well, he asked me right before I go, he was like, I got a proposition for you. And I'm like, what? And he was like, I want you to seduce this Mexican drug lord. He's like, I'll give you $5,000 for it. He said the girl I was seeing left me and went back to her boyfriend, which was this guy. He was like, I need you to go seduce him and make her know that you're doing this, and make her know that he went, and so she leaves him and comes back to me. He was like, she's got kids that she needs to be here with and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about any of that, first of all. Second of all, like, I don't even know who you are. So I told him, I'm like, dude, like, $5,000 is nothing to me. I was like, I can get that in a matter of seconds if I need it. I was like, so you can take your I don't want to tell you who the fuck I am ass and get the fuck on somewhere. Like, get out of my inbox. I'm so sick of talking to you. You're driving me fucking crazy. If I'm not going to figure out who you are, like, stop talking to me. And so he, like, pretty much just pressed my last buttons between that and then, like, right when I got to Texas, and he was still at me. And I'm like, oh. So I take 6 minutes of that video and I, like, put it together. It's like this worst 6 minutes there was, and I hosted it on YouTube, but it was private, so only I had the link, whatever, nobody else could see it. And I sent him the link, and I don't remember exactly what I titled it and like the description of it was, but it was brilliant. And it was sent to him, and I told him, I was like, somehow this got recorded, and I need you to leave me alone. And the next day I woke up and my entire YouTube channel was completely gone. Like, it got shut down. They said I was not allowed to have it no more. Like, every video I had on there for my entire life type thing, it was gone. Like, I can never go back and get those things. No explanation as to why, and no responses on anything. So yeah, like, my son, when he was young, and all his stuff's on there. Like, there's some things on there that were, like, very, very meaningful that I was holding on to, and that's where I was holding on to it at. But besides that, yeah, so then I knew right then and there, I was like, he has a little bit of pull to be able to do that. So good thing I'm all the way in Texas, right? At this point, I've got a few people that are in my life, not like my age, but people that are relevant in the community, things like this. And they're my friends, and those are the people I shared this video with, because I didn't give it to everybody. I didn't put it out there like that. But we had all been looking, my family, me, a few other people have been looking, like, who is this guy, like, searching all over the place. And So I had, you know, people sending me things like, hey, does this guy look familiar? And I'm like, no. And I got back from a failed effort down there a few months later to Indiana. And a lot of other things ended up happening. Bam. I'll be bringing those up here in just a second on another video, because that's actually going to be some more things I'm putting out there for you guys to go ahead and have and look at. But he pretty much dissolved in the back of my mind. Like, sometimes people would bring me things and I would wonder about it sometimes, but he was just a mystery. Well, last October, my lawyer from back then actually texted me, and he was like, I think I found your guy, and sent me a name. And I looked it up on Google, and damn, there he is. What the fuck? I was like, dude, I've looked for this dude for like so long. Like, I don't even know what to do with it now. Like, this is crazy. Like, that's him. And, immediately in my head, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, my lawyer knew who this was the whole time. You cannot tell me for 1 second that you guys were a lawyer in Lafayette together and you didn't know who he was, and now you got his, why did you just give this to me? You've hid it from me the whole time. So I called my lawyer and I was like, look, why did you hide this shit from me? Who is, like, what's going on? And he was like, look, like, we put him in office, because he was a judge now. He said, we put him in office. We gave him his job, basically, because we thought he'd be a great judge. He was a great defense attorney. He said, but he lost his roots. He's not doing what he said. He's sending everybody to jail. We don't want him there no more. Oh, so let me get this straight. Now you're gonna, get the escort that has dirt on him that you know about and go throw her a crumb so that I will fucking cause this big fucking ruckus and get this man fired and do your dirty work for you, since you don't want him in office no more, right? Okay. I might, take that little job from him, but it's not going to be on your terms. It's not going to be like you think it's going to be. So, let's step back. So, what did I do? I called the judge. I called and left a message at the courthouse, and I acted like somebody else. And he pretty much immediately called me back. And when he did, I had no plan for this, none of it. But at this point, I don't trust anybody. I never have trusted anybody in, a position of power, like cops, all this stuff. There's some good cops out there. There's some good everybody out there. But no, I don't trust y'all. So at this point, if you're in a position of power, if you are anybody that's in that category, you're being recorded while you talk to me, just like I'm being recorded while I talk to you. So I record this conversation when the judge calls back, and I'm acting like this girl that had coffee with him, and I had my friend with me, and it was a couple of years ago, and I was just in town again, and I want to see, what's up. And he's trying to figure out who I am, and he's like, oh, I don't remember. And he's asking me questions, and he says that he has no idea what he's doing when it comes to sentencing people. Bam! What did you just say? Okay, so when I think he realized who it was, and right when he did, he says this, because I said something along the lines of, if you remember my friend and not me, I'm going to be very upset with you. And he says, what are you going to do, strangle me? And the condescending way this man says this was checkmate, I was like, I feel you. I'm playing this game with you. That was a good one. But I end up getting off the phone. I tell my lawyer, I'm like, hey, I've got him on tape saying he has no idea what he's doing when it comes to sentencing. And of course he wants this very bad. And I'm, gonna fucking just play games with y'all like you're all playing with me now. So I ended up in that office, and I let my lawyer hear that his voice was on the recorder, and hear the judges, this and that. And then I was like, I gotta go. And I didn't give it to him, and I didn't let him hear that part, because he's probably recording me just like I was him. But it's a dirty game out here, right? I end up having a lot of emotions at this point, because I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? What's going on? this judge that's actually a freaking lawyer still, a special lawyer still in Lafayette. He's a freaking professor at Purdue. Like, he does all these things. Like, what the hell was that all about? Like, who are you? And what did you do is make everybody so mad that they don't want you there no more. So I ended up, putting a little bit of information out there, but nothing concrete and nothing that could tie itself in with itself. I just made a little bit of noise, and as soon as I did that, I was getting ready to move out of Lafayette, and didn't exactly get there without being set up by the cops. Literally, I was at a hotel. I was leaving the next morning. There was me and a few other people, and it was like checkout time. It was early in the morning. I had my shit with me. Everybody was like there. We're getting ready to leave, and the room was in my friend's name. He was actually, ex-military. He lived up in Valparaiso, and he was at work in Chicago. Like, he wasn't even there. He just had the room in his name. And the cops knock at the door, and it's early in the morning, dude, and like there's stuff that needs to not be there. And I try to take everything and put it, to where it doesn't need to be on anybody. I was the only female there, so we thought we had, everything as much together as we could. There was a couple of bongs in there that had water in them, and there was nothing we could do about the water part, because like there was no time. Like, there's people, like, everybody's freaking out, and I'm just like, fuck. The door gets answered, and these cops are just like ridiculous. I'm about to tell you the rest of that in a second, and I gotta start it over because it's gonna cut. So